All right, are we good?
Yes.
Well, it's nothing against Steve, it's just my desk is full. So I would have had to take it all in there. So Steve, I apologize. Because I said come to you. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order on Monday, January 4th. At this time, we're still working with a skeleton crew. Is Kathy here? Does anybody know?
She is not.
Okay, so that means that our first order is going to have to be that the trustees are going to have to pick someone from their rank to take minutes.
I think Taylor can take the minutes.
I'm sorry, who can?
Taylor?
Taylor, is that what you?
Yeah, that was what I was planning on, unless anyone has any objections to that.
Nope, I just needed to know that for sure because we didn't do that the last 2 times, so they're really not official. But as long as you're taking them and the board has okayed, that's good with me. So that's a unanimous consent, I assume. So that motion is adopted. All right, we're going on to the meeting line 2, the meeting procedures. Obviously, those who wish to speak have to use their telephone for an audio present. Before Taylor explains this process to you, it should also be noted that she's the moderator. If you experience any problems with this, please let me know. I hope to heaven you don't have the same problem I have. Taylor, would you please explain what the process is?
Yes. So
Thank you.
if anyone would like to make a public statement once we get to that point, you can dial *9 to raise your hand, and then I will send a request for you to unmute, and to unmute you dial *6.
Can I
Thank
clarify,
you.
Marie, can you see us?
I cannot, so I can hear you, of course, but I can't see you.
So how do you want us to raise our hands as we typically would?
Well, I couldn't see your hands before. The only thing I can say is if you say, you know, Madam Chair, whatever, or Supervisor Howe, however you want. Would that work?
If it works for you, it works for me.
Well, works for me. Anybody else have any other suggestions? All right, then that's the way we'll do it, which means that you just holler out, you know, and I'll recognize the voice, hopefully. Ryan, you've already agreed for these civil reflections. Thank you so much for doing that. It's greatly appreciated.
Shall I get started?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to face my virtual flag right here.
Good
If
for
you
you.
put your hand on your heart, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll follow by a moment of silence. All right, number 4, we have the approval of the agenda. Is there anyone who has any changes that they'd like to make? I'm going to take that as a no. So it's a unanimous consent. So we're good. That means everybody agreed.
Well, we have to take a vote.
Well,
Somebody has
Yeah.
to
Vote
move
on
it.
that.
under a, go ahead if you want. Unanimous consent means that everybody voted yes. But that's okay. You do what you want. Go
Then we
ahead.
can vote.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we need a motion and a second, and then a vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Second.
Second. Madam Chair, you got to call for the vote.
If no change, well, all right. let's go for the vote. Okay. There are no changes, so let's vote.
You have to call for the vote.
I'm calling for the vote. Usually in a unanimous consent, that means the motion is passed, but you guys go ahead. I'm calling for the vote. Go ahead, Taylor.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, we'll move on. Is it okay to move on now? We want the disclosure of conflict of interest. Is there anyone with a conflict of interest? That apparently is a unanimous consent, which also passes as a vote. So if you want to go ahead and vote, go ahead. I'll call for the vote.
We don't need a vote
You
for
don't need
that.
to vote on that.
If there's no disclosure, then we just move on.
I know. All right, the next number 6 is public statement number 1. Here's where the public has the right to speak on any current agenda item. Will acknowledge by the moderator. Obviously, she said by using your digits or your phone.
If you
Is
would
there
like,
anyone?
if you would like to make a public statement at this time, you can dial *9 if you have phoned in, or you can use your virtual hand via the Zoom app, or you can turn your video on to physically raise your hand. Okay, there's a phone number ending in 871. You can go ahead and unmute by dialing *6.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. This is Jacob Dace from Main Street here in Bath. I'm phoning in reference to the ballot proposal for the open trustee seat. I'm not sure how this has become a point to where we're taking applications for a elected position when 3,100 people have spoken.
Jason, I don't see that on the agenda. You understand what that means? Our public statement number 1 is any current agenda item.
Okay.
Madam Chair, it is on the agenda.
Okay, where on the agenda? Am I missing?
Number
10A.
10AA.
10A. Okay. If it's on, you say it's on the agenda. 10A.
Do we have our stuff together to be able to comment on this, or?
Apparently, I don't have it.
Okay, well, 3,100 people from Bath Township have taken a vote on this. Due to negligence, another gentleman was put through on the ballot to be voted on who wasn't even legally allowed to be on the ballot.
Okay,
He was,
okay.
and here we are today, wasting
Nope,
time, wasting money. For what? We have a guy who won, who would have won if the people before would have done their job, their due diligence. Not let someone who wasn't legally allowed to be on the ballot on the ballot. That's all I got to say. This is getting, every board tries something wish-washy and backdoor dealings. Every board tries this, and every board ends up getting overturned and upset with new candidates. This is no way to start off a new board.
Okay, that was my mistake, Jason. I do have it. I misunderstood. I'm sorry for that interruption. Is there anybody else?
If anyone else would like to make a public statement at this time, you can dial *9 or raise your hand. There is a phone number ending in 830. You can go ahead and dial *6 to unmute. Phone number ending in 830. We had some feedback on that. I'm not sure if you're near something that's making sound or something like that. If you can move to a quieter location, you can raise your hand again by dialing *9. Okay. 830, you can go ahead and unmute by dialing *6. Or, yeah, *6.
Is this better?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. I apologize for the, I had my phone on speaker. So this is Rick Curtis, Park Lake Road. I think I know all of you who are here tonight. I think that Mr. Dace just made a pretty good objection to what's going on here. It seems to me that at some level of the township or the county, there was a breakdown in checking to make sure that Mr. Barber was on the ballot. Mr. Barber was on the ballot, but he was unqualified to be on the ballot because he is not a registered voter or registered elector in the township of Bath. There were only 5 people on the ballot. He was unqualified. Therefore, there are 4 qualified people who were on that ballot that people voted for. And of course they did vote for an unqualified person because they didn't know, the voters did. So I think I understand, although we're a different political parties, me and Guy Elsenheimer, this isn't a party issue. This is about fairness. There would have only been 4 people on that ballot. There's a couple side issues to that. I spoke with Mr. Barber the same day. In fact, I was in the office applying for my candidacy the same time that he was. He contacted me about a week later and asked how to get off the ballot because he said he didn't want to be on it any longer. So I explained to him that he had to get in touch with the clerk's office, either here or at the county level. It was.
Oh,
Sorry, I hit a button. Rick, sorry, go ahead and unmute again, *6. I apologize for that. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I apologize for that.
Okay. When he tried to get off from the ballot, he tried to contact the clerk's office locally and in St. John's, and was unable to do it because of the COVID shutdown. So it would seem like there'd be some leeway there to allow him to be off the ballot. But again, for some reason, he was not able to be taken off from the ballot. So that was his wishes. And then we find out further on that part of his wishes may have been because he was an unqualified elector. He wasn't qualified to sit on the township board. So Mr. Elsenheimer is pretty upset about this. I've spoken with him, and I don't blame him a bit. He spent money for an election. He went out and talked to voters. He made phone calls. And the right thing to do here is to appoint him to that position that he was cheated out of. Now, I'm not saying that anybody did this on purpose, But what I am saying that regardless of whether they did this on purpose or not, he was cheated out of that election. I don't necessarily follow his line of thinking as far as the way he would run things or the way he would conduct himself in office. I think that he's been very professional in all of this and just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. But I think we would probably be opening ourselves up, meaning the township, to lawsuits if we continue the route that we're going and not do the right thing here. Does anyone have any question for me? Did I not make this real clear? Hello?
No, I think they understood, Rick. I think you were very
Okay.
clear.
Okay,
No,
good. That's all I wondered. And
Yep.
thank you for listening, and you have a good meeting and a happy new year to everyone.
Thank you. I think we're on item 7, which deals with anyone from the county, the state, federal, or any other agency would like to speak.
Madam Chair, I'm not sure if everyone had a chance
Yeah,
to give their public
I
comment.
should probably give everyone another chance to raise their
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. Okay. Thank you.
If anyone else would like to make a public statement at this time, they can dial *9. Jason, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Jason Umrigi, 6051 Clace Road. Just wanted to point out another way of thinking about this issue with the vacant trustee position. I have not seen any evidence about Mr. Barber or his efforts to withdraw from the election. It'd be good to see what evidence there is. But in terms of the will of the voter, I know Mr. Days had pointed out the 3,100 votes for Elsenheimer is actually 3,083. If you were to honor those votes, you'd also at the same time be not honoring the 3,702 votes that Barber had received. And so one way of thinking about this is that the will of the voters, when given an option, was to vote Democratic. And so I would just keep that in mind when you think about how you're going to move forward in filling this vacancy. Thank you.
If anyone else would like to make a public statement at this time, you can dial *9. I do not see anyone additional.
All right, then we can move on to item 7.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. This is I'll repeat myself. This is from the county, state, federal, or other agencies. If there's anyone who is there, and I'm sorry I can't see you, so please acknowledge.
And dial *9 if there is anyone here that would like to speak for that. I think we're okay to move on.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, which is the consent agenda. This agenda is designed for non-controversial items of business that can be adopted all at once, thus saving us a little time so we don't have to do each one. There doesn't appear to be anything, unless there's something someone else has, that was received and on file. So apparently there isn't.
I'm looking to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I'm sorry, what?
Madam Chair, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second.
That's what I was just going to ask for, because there is nothing on, the only other thing we have is approval of the vouchers. So if there's a second, let's take a vote.
Mr. Benzie,
Yes.
Mr. Fewens Bliss,
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans,
Yes.
Mr. Wiswasser,
Yes.
Miss Howe.
Yes. So we have the next item 9, which is the approval of the minutes.
Excuse
Do
me,
we have
but
a,
I noticed
ahead.
an error in the minutes.
okay. And that is,
They say 6 votes for ayes rather than 5 votes. There was only 5 board members present. So all the
That's correct.
6s need to be made 5s.
Yes.
that's correct. So we'll change the 6 to a 5. Is there anything else? Do you want
I
to
would
vote on
move
this?
approval of the minutes with the changes we just listed.
Second.
Thank you. And we want a verbal vote?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passed to approve the minutes with the correction.
Marie, Steve
Yes.
Wisswasser, treasurer,
Yes, Steve?
you need to back up, go back to B, and you need to take a roll call vote on the vouchers. That is money. You're spending money. You're approving paying the bills tonight. You cannot do that on the consent agenda. You have to do that with a separate roll call vote. You have accounts payable vouchers have to be recognized and has to be in the minutes for the auditors.
Thank you for the correction. So how would you like to go back?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers.
I'll second that.
Take a vote?
It's a roll call, Taylor.
Mr. Funes Bliss,
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans,
Yes.
Mr. Wisswasser,
Yes.
Mr. Benzie,
Yes.
Ms. Howe,
Yes? All right, is there any other changes that need to be done between here and there? Okay, so we're on item 10, which is the unfinished business, so now we can get to work. So we have the trustee vacancy on the Board of Trustees. Karen, is she there? She was a
Yeah.
superintendent? Okay, you were going to do an update?
I was. Thank you, Marie. For the board, under your direction, staff has initiated the process that you agreed to over your last couple of board meetings, and they have launched the application for the trustee position that is currently vacant as of January 2nd. It's been launched, to my understanding, on our website, Facebook, and other social media. There are hard copy. For those that don't have computer access, there are hard copies at the front counter of the Bath Charter Township office. We will continue to take those applications through January 13th, which is the deadline we agreed on. At that time, I will redact personal information such as cell phone and email. And then I will include those to you in your packet prior to the January 19th meeting. I will also be, prior to that, be inviting whoever submits an application to be able to make a short public statement per, I believe, Trustee Funes Bliss. He wanted that to be approximately 3 to 5 minutes. At that time, you can ask questions, and then you will undertake a vote that evening to fill the position. Do any of you have any questions? Ryan?
It's my understanding that this is all based on a legal opinion saying this is the right pathway to move forward, or we are well within our legal rights to move forward in this way.
We are within our legal rights to move forward in this way. The lawyer did not explicitly say this is how to fill a vacancy. This is one option for filling a vacancy. So that is how we have you all decided to move forward, and the staff is undertaking that plan.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thanks. I'm all set, Madam Supervisor.
Okay. Then I guess as long as your update is talking about the process, then everyone agrees with the process. Do we need to vote on your items of introduction and discussion?
No, no vote is required. You've already voted to support the process and we're undertaking that process.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, my next one is the items for action on the unfinished business. Because these are appointments that I'm making, I'm not sure how you want to do this. Do you want to do this one at a time, or do you want to do them together?
I'd recommend one at a time, Madam Chair.
Okay, nope, that's good. All right, we'll take the first one. I think it's listed as Carl Siebold for Road Commission. So how would you, I can't make a so, do you accept or reject? Maybe that's the way to do it. Is that a yay or a nay? For the appointment to the Road Commission for Carl Siebold. Okay, what do you guys want to do?
Marie, I'd like to see us study these for 2 weeks before we vote on them.
I have no issue with that. This was put in the packet. I have the files if anybody has any question on them. But your motion is that we wait 2 weeks,
Yes,
okay? And so that means that those are being, to all committee members, will wait 2 weeks at least, which means that'll take us into 4. So that's up to you. So do you need a second for your motion?
I'll second it.
Okay,
You tell,
Not yet.
well, there's all kinds of people trying to watch it.
so we're gonna wait. Yes,
Marie, I have a question. Steve Wisswasser, Township Treasurer.
yes, sir.
My question is for Ryan. Ryan, did you have a motion that you wanted to take them one at a time, or was you just recommending them to take them one at a time?
That was just my random suggestion in no official manner.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't lose a motion there.
Nope, you didn't lose a motion. That was, no one said any difference. Now, so I took them, as one at a time, as his suggestion. Do you want to group them together for 2 weeks? Is that the motion now that's on? Because
we
that
have a
would be,
motion. Marie,
yes,
we have a motion on the floor and a second that we hold this off for 2 weeks to study.
that's correct. So do you need to vote on the motion?
Yes,
Okay. Then we'll vote on the motion that these appointees, there are 6 of them, will be held off for a minimum of 2 weeks. And you have a second. So let's do a roll call vote.
you don't have to have a roll call vote, do you?
Why not?
Well, it's not spending money.
You can have a roll call vote without spending money.
Okay, give me just a second.
Yep.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
Mr. Rosecrans,
Yes,
Mr. Wisswasser,
Yeah,
Mr. Benzie,
Yes,
Mr. Fewens Bliss,
Yes.
Ms. Howe.
No,
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
I've been informed that we're not streaming live. Is there anything we can do about that?
I show that we are streaming. I'm not seeing any issues. I have seen the comments that
Oh, you have?
problems.
Okay.
Yes, but I don't see an issue on my end, so I'm not sure.
All right. It's frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's frozen. Okay, we're doing the best we can. Just wanted to let you know what I heard.
Okay, thank you. I apologize for that.
Okay, we're ready to move on to the Township Internet referral to the Plan Commission. Is that something? We need to take an action on it. So if I'm understanding, it's the board decided, or at least most decided, that this internet access was going to be referred to the Planning Commission. Do I have a second? Well, I can't make the motion, so somebody,
I'll make the motion to
Okay.
refer the internet study to the planning commission.
okay, thank you.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
second? Okay, Ryan, I'm assuming that was you.
That's right.
Okay, thank you. All right, do you want to take a vote on it? And again, you can do verbal vote or you can do roll call. I would prefer the roll call, but that's okay.
Madam Chair, it's your call as the facilitator of the meeting, whatever you want to do.
I understand that. As the facilitator, I'm going to be asking for a roll call vote.
Mr. Benzie,
Yes.
Mr. Fewens Bliss,
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans,
Yes.
Mr. Wisswasser,
Yes.
Ms. Howe.
Yes. Motion passes then, so the internet access question go to the Planning Commission. Now, is that going to be immediately?
Yeah, yes, they're working
Okay.
on it.
All right, the chair will be pleased with that, thank you. All right, we have C, which is the second reading of the adoption for ordinance 3166 to amend the Bath Charter Township Planning Unit Development Ordinance, which is the PUD.
I would move the second reading and adoption of ordinance 31.66.
I'll support that.
Okay, Steve did. Madam Chairman, this is a roll call vote. I think we're frozen.
Frozen?
Okay, I can hear you, Taylor.
Okay, just making sure. I was like, what? Madam Chair, if you're ready, I can call the roll.
Looks like we lost her. Maybe you should.
She's
go-
muted. I can hear her talking down the hall on her phone, but you can't hear her on the.
She's unmuted. Here, Marie, go ahead and unmute by dialing *6. Marie, you can unmute by dialing *6.
Treasurer to the rescue.
I told her to push *6, but
Nope, she's still unmuted. Was she able to hear us, Steve?
no, I don't think so. Let me.
Oh, okay.
Did you just take us off Facebook, Taylor?
Did not. I think
The live
yeah,
stream
I just
went
saw
away.
it stopped for some reason.
Yeah.
Our viewers are definitely going to want to watch us right now.
She's attempting to come, but she's trying to. She doesn't want to come down here. She wants to stay in her office.
Okay.
She's redialing your phone.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Taylor, do you need to disconnect her and reconnect her?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
Because I'm still seeing her number.
Yeah, I can do that too. Okay, I just removed her, so hopefully
Okay.
she'll be able to dial in.
Okay.
I think I got the video back up too. I'm not really sure what caused that to.
I'm seeing the live on Facebook again.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Thanks for your patience, everyone.
Is there something you'd like me to tell her again? Or
Um,
directions or something I can do to help?
If she's dialing back in, she should be okay. As
Yeah,
long
I
as
don't-
she's
I
got the information.
I don't see her number yet, so I'm not sure.
Was she using her cell phone, Steve, or was she using the township phone?
I'm really not sure, but I believe
Okay.
so. I think it was a cell phone.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Marie, you can dial *6 to unmute.
Are you there?
Yes, can you hear us okay?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Good.
dialed it back in. It kept telling me I was muted.
Yeah,
Okay,
we lost you somehow. I'm not sure how that happened.
okay. We're at the second reading and the adoption of the ordinance 31.66 to amend the Bath Chartership Planning Unit Development Ordinance, which is the PUD. I was asking, what is it that you want to do with this? Do you want to make the motion to pass it?
We already made the motion. Ryan made the motion and Joe seconded it. Now we
Okay.
need a roll call vote.
So now we're looking at a vote, correct?
Yes.
Needs to be a roll call vote, Marie.
That's what I would just as soon have, is a roll call.
Okay. Mr. Funes Bliss,
Yes.
Mr. Rosecrans,
Yes,
Mr. Wisswasser,
Yes.
Mr. Benzie,
Yes,
Miss Howe,
Yes. All right, the motion passed. Now we're on to new business. Is that correct?
yes.
Item 11. The introduction and discussions for Karen. Apparently you have the municipal employee retirement system.
I do, thank you.
Mhm.
So MERS, the Municipal Employees Retirement System, which all of our employees, our full-time employees have their retirement accounts through, has asked us to verify information. It's supposed to clean up communication that goes between a township and them and us, just to make everything a little cleaner. It's nothing is being asked that we haven't already had on file. So what I will be doing is coming back to you in 2 weeks with approval to go ahead and submit that information. I can include that file to you at that time, but it basically lists items such as what constitutes a full-time employee and how those deductions are credited to the accounts. It's really just a standard matter of business, but it needs to be done by the end of January. So I'll be bringing that back to you for approval. Are there any questions? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Nope, you're welcome. Can we go to B now, which is rezoning requests for 7551 Coleman Road. Planner, I'm gonna massacre your name.
I have heard it said 7 or 8 different ways in my life, so I will not be offended in the slightest.
It's okay.
That's okay. Thank you, Supervisor Howe. So this first rezoning request is for an existing storage facility located at 7551 Coleman Road. For those of you who are not fully familiar with that area, that's Coleman Road on the north side, just to the east of Marsh Road. So it's generally in the area behind the Meyer off of Saginaw. This rezoning request is to rezone the property from low density residential to development. And the purpose for their request is that they are looking to add 2 additional buildings that are climate controlled for additional storage. But this building was constructed prior to the adoption of the township zoning ordinance, so it is currently a legal non-conforming use. And so in order for them to go about applying for that special use permit, in order for them to expand, they need to come into conformance with our zoning ordinance. If there are any questions about this request, I'm happy to answer them.
Was the, Nick, was the Planning Commission was in favor of this?
That's correct. They voted unanimously in favor of the request.
Thank you.
The map on the memo was really helpful, Nick. Thank you.
I apologize. One thing I will add here, I know that there might be some concern about the houses that are located to the west of this property. Part of the special use permit process is that the Planning Commission has greater scrutiny over the proposal. The applicant in this particular case is already aware of those concerns and has noted them and understands that they will need to provide a landscape buffer as required in our ordinance. And they're aware of that requirement and amenable to it.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna bring this back, this is new business? I thought we'd already, didn't we discuss this at our last meeting?
No, this is the first time you all are seeing this.
Okay, huh. Okay, so are we that's gonna come back in 2 weeks, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Okay. So do we need to do anything other than wait to make a decision in 2 weeks?
No,
We don't, we should
Okay.
be able to move on to the next item.
All right, that's another rezoning request. Go ahead, Nick, you're on.
all right. So this rezoning request is from Daryl and Dana Conley for 3 of their properties located on the southeast corner of Chandler Road and Club Courts Drive. For those of you not familiar, that is just to the south of the Hawk Hollow development along Chandler Road. And the 3 parcels are currently zoned rural, and they are requesting that they be rezoned to medium density residential. And much like the other requests that I just discussed, the Planning Commission recommended approval unanimously, 6-0. And then any questions about this, I'm happy to answer them.
It doesn't look like there's any questions, Madam Chair.
Hey, I think your memos were very self-explanatory.
Glad to hear that. Thank you.
So do we go on now to D, as in David, with your zoning ordinance amendment? Again, you're on.
Yes, this is the last one, I promise, for tonight at least. This is a proposed zoning ordinance amendment to our low-density residential district and our medium-density residential district to allow general office and professional office uses with a special use permit. Again, I'd like to reiterate that a special use permit allows the Planning Commission additional scrutiny under a proposal. You know, some of the concerns that were discussed in the creation of this proposal were concerns about the uniformity of the architecture of these particular buildings. And so the Planning Commission is well aware of that, and certainly will take that into consideration to make sure that any office uses that are proposed, the structures are harmonious with the surrounding existing structures and landscaping and architectural style. And that, I believe, is the gist of it. And then if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I have a quick question, Nick.
Sure.
You're talking about these office buildings as if you already have plans for them? Do I understand that? Plans have been submitted?
We do not have any office proposals at this time.
Okay. So this could be used for anything besides office?
This is solely to allow
Okay,
office uses within those 2 zoning districts with a special use permit.
okay, got it. So it's anyone can submit for an office in this area?
If this is adopted, that would be correct.
Okay, nope, got it. Okay, thank you very much. All right, we have items for action, which apparently there isn't any. So we have a superintendent, number 12, which is superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good news on the front of COVID. Our firefighters have received their COVID shots, and our police are being scheduled as we speak to receive their shots. As we wrapped up the end of 2020 and entered into 2021, there were some insurance issues for our employees that we're taking care of. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's this kind of some things that happen every year that we have to take care of anyways. So quite a few planning items on tonight that will come back to you for action in 2 weeks on Tuesday. Don't forget, because of Martin Luther King Junior Day, we will be off by one evening. Our meeting will be done. In addition to those items, you will have adult use marijuana issues coming to you that came out of the Planning Commission, to my knowledge, this last meeting they had on the 29th. In addition to that, we will have a sewer planning project that we are currently working on with SCUMA, and the director of SCUMA will be on hand to answer any questions that anyone might have related to that project. And if anybody has any questions at this time, I'm happy to take them. Looks like we're all set, Madam Chair.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't see anybody or hear of anybody. All right,
you.
Thank you. Is our public statement 2, which again, this one is allowing individuals to speak on any subject that they would like to speak on within a reasonable length of time. So, do you have anybody, Taylor?
Yes, I have a phone number ending in 173. You can go ahead and unmute by dialing *6.
Hi, this is Larry Fewens Bliss, Mead Creek in Bath, and I just wanted to say thank you to the Parks and Rec Department for putting the letters to Santa together. Our daughter really enjoyed getting a letter back, and especially to the Legion, American Legion Auxiliary and Dollar General, who provided gifts, a gift bag for each child as well. So great job, Parks and Rec, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
I believe this is Guy. It says Ann, but I'm going to assume it's Guy. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I am Guy Elsenheimer, Center Road, Bath. Obviously, I am the other candidate for trustee. I had sent a few letters to the township asking for clarification, et cetera. Didn't get a response, so I feel like I need to read one of these anyway. So consider this my formal objection or complaint to the handling and processes used during and subsequently after the 2020 election, specifically for the open positions of township trustee. The lack of transparency has been incredible. Only through my own investigation, ending with my interview with Diane Zucker, Clinton County Clerk, on 12/22/2020, was I able to find these facts to be true and not mere rumors. The handful of applicants, number one, for Bath Township candidates was not vetted properly. Could have been an oversight, but that's a fact. Jack Barber wished to be removed from the ballot on May 8th, 2020 via email request he sent to Clinton County Clerk's office. Another fact. 3, the total votes were certified by the township and sent to the county clerk. 4, the county clerk submitted certified votes mid-November, State Bureau of Elections. A few days after that happened, Bath Township notified Clinton County that Jack Barber was not registered and therefore was not a legitimate candidate. Diane Zucker contacted the State Bureau for consultation. The state informed Diane that the votes could not be uncertified, and that was okay. Really. Jack Barber was not a willing candidate or a successful candidate. See Superintendent Hildebrandt's 12/17/2020 process and timeline to fill board vacancy. Jack Barber was not a legitimate candidate. He did not legally belong on the ballot. Mr. Barber was not a legitimate candidate. He could not legally take the office. As such, was not able to serve as a trustee. The seat did not become vacant as a result of Mr. Barber's actions or him not agreeing to take the oath. There were 4 trustee seats open for the election. There were only 4 legitimate candidates for the position of trustee on the ballot. I submit that as a result of these facts, I should have been sworn in as one of the 4 successful candidates for the seat of trustee. I have seen that the only option that was presented to the board to correct these oversights, or are they something else, is the application appointment process, which, by the way, is not mandated by the state of Michigan law, which again, tonight was admitted to, yet last meeting, they were told, Al had asked the question, is this our only option? He was told that was, which is not correct. I object to the application of appointment to someone to the trustee seat by the board, ignoring the fact that almost 3,100, or as Jason pointed out, 3,083 voters of Bath Township have already selected me for the position. Myself and at least they, residents of Bath Township, would like to know how we can justify these actions ignoring free and fair elections. I did not make a mistake in this election, but yet I'm being penalized for it. I don't understand that. And any questions or observations will be open. I know that there's a lot of public out there that are also wondering what happened and why is this happening this way. Thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Yeah, we have a phone number ending in 830. You can go ahead and unmute by dialing *6.
Hello again, Rick Curtis. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I wanted to point out something that was stated. It was Jason Amarigi had pointed out something to you. That, well, he had mentioned to you that you would be subverting the will of the majority of the township, 3,800 people, by appointing Mr. Elsenheimer. Well, in essence, what he's asking you to do is to overturn an election and to discount the other folks in this. He is asking you to take a partisan stand on an issue that should certainly be a nonpartisan issue now that you are sitting behind those chairs, sitting behind the dais. Excuse me. You folks represent the township. Taking applications for this is just so unfair and allowing this travesty to continue. If the township or the county had have done their job and made sure that the people on the ballots were qualified to sit in those chairs, we would not even be here tonight talking about this, because Mr. Elsenheimer would be speaking to us as a trustee. He was only one of 4. Now, albeit by default, that's fine. There were only 4 candidates who were eligible. If anybody else wanted to run for office, they could have put their hat in the ring way back in March, just like everybody else did. But they didn't do that. So I'm not sure how someone who is sitting on our planning commission and representing this township can take a partisan stance on this. I think it's very telling. Perhaps he wants to be a trustee. Anyway, we certainly don't need a trustee who is blinded by partisanship. And I learned that lesson a long time ago as a trustee myself, with the help of Marie Howe and the help of Joe Benzie and the help of Al Rosecrans. And I found that it was more effective to represent everybody fairly. This is not fair to Mr. Elsenheimer, and I am pleading with you to do the right thing. I don't espouse his political views, but if we're going to keep out there on a partisan level saying that Republicans are evil and doing all these wrong things, why would we sink to their level and continue that sort of thing on the Democratic side? Do the right thing and appoint him, please. Thank you.
If there's anyone else that would like to make a public statement at this time, you can dial *9 to raise your hand. I do not see anything additional.
Okay, thank you. So the next step is 14, which is board member comments. So do I need to call each one? Ryan?
Thanks for joining us virtually. Sorry for the technology quirks. Thanks to everyone who had public comment. We certainly, or I guess I'll speak for myself, I certainly take that into consideration as I weigh all these issues. Thanks.
If I could interrupt for 1 second. Ms. Howe, it looks like we have another person that would like to make a public statement, if you would like to address them at this time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Phone number ending in 577. You can dial *6 to unmute.
No, *6. Absolutely.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, hi, my name is Fred Bowling. I live at 8256 Cutler Road. I just want to support Mr. Helsenheimer as well, even though I'm, again, not on his political party, but it just kind of makes sense. So I wanted to support that. And also, I sent an email to folks about an internet situation. I'd like to have that email returned, or at least replied to in some capacity. So thank you, and let's appoint Mr. Elsenheimer as it should be. Thank you.
Okay, I think you are okay to move on.
Okay. No, Ryan, you gave your comments. Joe?
I'm all set. Thanks, everybody, for attending tonight.
Al?
No comments tonight.
Okay. Steve?
Thank you, Marie. I'd just like to say ditto to everything that Ryan and the rest have all said. And I'd like to remind all the trustee members that the vouchers are here and you need to come in and you need to sign the vouchers.
Good reminder. All right, as for myself, I'd like to thank all for watching, especially with our new year coming up. This is the first one. I do have a question, though, and hopefully, Karen, you can answer this for me.
Sure.
Is there a reason why, with our question to the attorney, that it can't be released? It seems like that would solve a lot of questions.
No, there should be no reason why. When I forwarded Mr. Elsenheimer's letter, that was the response we received, and I do not believe that it's subject to attorney-client privilege, so I would believe we could release that.
It just seems like that may answer some questions about the process, which I think is part of what the issue is that's being questioned.
Sure.
So, okay, how do you release that?
If you wish to have that, do you want to release it publicly, or do you just want to release it to Mr. Elsenheimer?
Well, he's a good start. He's the one, you know, I think that would make sense. What's the rest of, do the rest of them assume that's, is there any question that the other trustees may have?
Maybe we could include it in a future board packet after providing a copy to Mr. Elsenheimer.
We can do that. So I will forward that to Mr. Elsenheimer tonight. I have his email address, and then it will be included in the next board packet for you all.
That's a great start. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I don't have anything else to say, so other than adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Like you said, Karen, so we'll be back January 19th.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll
Thank
second
you.
Joe's motion.
We should vote. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would assume that would be unanimous, but hey, whatever. Do we need a verbal vote?
I think we need a roll call vote. We're doing that all on everything else.
I think that's probably, if that's what you want to do, it's a unanimous consent. You guys might want to double check that, but let's do a roll call. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yep, hold on, I gotta get it around.
So I appreciate that.
Mr. Rosecrans,
Yes.
Mr. Wisswasser,
Yes.
Mr. Benzie,
Yes.
Mr. Hewens Bliss,
Yes.
Miss Howe.
Yes.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, hopefully.